So as we saw last week, the ability to see, like we said, nothing can be made unless first of all somebody can actually clearly see it in the eye of his mind. And I want to tell you, it really is critical that you actually see. Are you looking for a job? You must be able to see that job. I want to give you a practical, a real life example from my own life. When I finished my first degree, I did a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Computer Science. And back then, there was I just couldn't see who would actually be interested in somebody who has done a degree in Mathematics and Computer Science. The economy was really bad. The government was retrenching people, and all I could see was how bad the economy is. I could see very clearly that I didn't know anybody in Nairobi. I couldn't see who would actually help me. I think I had a stack of reasons that I could actually clearly identify and see that this is the reason why I can't get a job. And for 3 years, I couldn't get any. Until one day, I met somebody who was really shocked. Somebody had a kiosk just next to mine in Dadora. And when I told him that I've got a degree, he was shocked. Actually, he was almost horrified. And he asked me, "You have a degree, then what are you doing with me here? I never went to school. What are you doing with me here?" And I told him actually, to be honest, actually he was doing far much better because he was selling a lot of things. He was doing a good business, and I was struggling. Even with the kiosk, I wasn't doing very well. And I gave him all the reasons. I told him, I don't know anybody in Nairobi. I'm not connected. I don't know anybody who can actually help me get a job. And I gave him all the good reasons. The economy is bad. I don't know anyone. I did a degree that, it's not like a degree in education where you are posted as a teacher. I wasn't an engineer or anything. It's just a general degree. And I had all the reasons why I couldn't actually get a job. And he listened very patiently. And at the end of it, he told me, with all those reasons, you actually will never get a job. Not exactly the kind of answer I was looking for. But then he told me the problem was not the economy. The economy, you may not be able to change the external economy. The problem is not even that you don't have anybody to guide you or to get you a job. You don't need anybody. And he told me the problem is right here. And unless you change your mind, you'll never get a job with that kind of mentality or that kind of attitude. And I want to tell you, he took me through some lessons that actually I caught on real quick. I was really hungry for a job, and I think because to be honest, within just about 7 days, I was able to actually get a job. Now the question is, what changed? Because one of the things that he made me understand is that unless I can actually see that God is able to actually give me a job, irrespective of the economy, irrespective of whether I know anyone, he told me, you have to see it. And I remember waking up every morning for the time that I stayed in that kiosk. All I could see were people, getting into vehicles, going to work. They were entering the buses, going off to work, and in the evening they would probably pass by the kiosk, and I would envy them. And I think my heart was full of bitterness as to why, because I just couldn't seem to get a job. And I changed my mind. And I started to actually visualize myself working in an office. And I could see it now clearly. It took me a few days to actually to force my mind out of the impossibilities. I took my focus off the economy. I started to forget that I don't know anyone. And I started to get excited that actually God can give me a job. I don't need to know anybody. And I could now visualize myself in a very plush office. I could actually see myself being thanked or being appreciated by my bosses, my imaginary bosses at that point. That, well done, you've done a good job. And I could see myself being a productive worker. And I intensified that which I could now see clearly. I could see myself getting onto one of the buses in the morning, preparing myself, wearing a tie and going to work. And I started getting really excited about the possibility. I'll tell you, when God said, let the poor say, I am rich, he knew exactly what he was talking about. It's futile to try and work out, how do I move from poor to rich? Like we said, the resources that you might need to get where you're going, God does not consider that. First of all, he wants you to accept that he can do it for you. God does not want you to worry about, how do I move from being weak to being strong? He simply says, let the weak say, I am strong. Not, I am weak and I'm trying to be strong. He doesn't say that let the poor say, I am really trying, I'm working very hard to get rich. He simply says, let the poor say, I am rich. Let the sick say, I am healed. Let the blind say, I can see. If you have a problem with actually seeing how God can actually do the miracles for you, you need to pray and start to believe that you can actually see. What is there that you need in your life? You, first of all, need to ask God to help you to see. And you can actually be able to say, I can see. Maybe you can't figure out, how will this take place? And this usually happens when we are in major problems. When we don't have a job, all we can see is, all we can see are the problems, the multitude of reasons why we can't get that job. But God is saying, you know I can give it to you, so accept that. That's why the Bible says that he calls the head from the beginning. And that's the mentality he wants us to adopt. He wants us to be able to say, I can see. He wants us to be able to say, I have a job. He wants us to be able to say, he has provided for all my needs. He is making a way for me, even where I cannot be able to see it. So let's not focus our attention on the why not. Let's not focus on the process that God will use. He simply told Abraham, whatever land your eyes can see, that I'll give to you. And somewhere else, he says, wherever your feet will tread, wherever you will walk on, that land I will give to you. There's something about taking possession. There's something about saying, I am healed. Clearly, you cannot be able to say, I am healed, unless in your mind you can see how it feels like to be healed. You must be able to see, what is it that you would do if you are healed? What is it that you would be able to do if you are strong? What is it that you would be able to do, for example, if you are rich? You need to be able to accept that possibility.